Mhm, mhm. Good morning, everyone. Am I early? I'm a little early. Good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? Happy Monday. Start the new week. Hey, Jaden, you were on the Globex session. I hope you got some sleep. Hey, Ben. Welcome to the room. Hey, Mike. Victoria Day. Is it a holiday in Canada? I did not know. I forgot. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday the 19th. Well, I hope you like learning because there's lots to learn. That's good. Welcome, welcome. And welcome to anybody who has just joined the room. I'm JJ and this is our pre-market session for RTH. And I guess let's dive right into it. So we had some news about a downgrade on Friday at the end of the day, of course. And the market sold off, but it did not put in a new low and it closed up higher. Well, when Globex opened Sunday night, we broke the previous day low and the value area is now underneath it. If you'll notice, we are trading right on top of those single prints. The fattest area of the profile has been right in the middle of the single prints, which shows that the trap shorts from 2 days ago are sitting there buying, they're holding the market up. Now, overnight inventory. Hey, Joe, how are things in the respectable world of money management? Good to see you. How's business? Joe is our link to the respectable side of the street, investment money, not degenerate traders. Hey, Oka, how you feeling? How are the eyes? Christian, how are you? So our overnight inventory is 100% long. I mean short. Yeah, excuse me. Monday brain. Inventory is 100% short because every single trade is underneath Friday's close. Yeah, I'm sure, you know, That's a tough job. You know, when people give you a lot of money to make sure that they're calm, that's tough. It is tough. You know, you got to keep those assets under management, right? You got to keep them nice and calm. So inventory is 100% short, and we're already starting to correct it a little higher. We're seeing resistance at Friday's low. That's natural. So what I'm looking for is when we open, now it's 4 minutes after 2. Already, if you just make the profile a little bit bigger, you could clearly see, clearly that there are sellers just under 20, right? And we can't get to the low. So they're front running that, and we're going to come back into this area. Now, I'm not a prediction kind of guy, but I think that the market might trade in this area on the open. And if we clean out the sellers from above, we'll do one of these. But I don't think it'll be right away, because I'm seeing 2 hours of selling at 59.20 and underneath that. So when I see that kind of selling, I know that there's size for sale because they're all competing. And nobody really wants to buy it under there. Here, the beautiful thing about market profile is you can really quickly see the distribution of inventory. It's so clear. If you look there, we took this, sold it up here, sold more up here, sold some here, and now it's in the discount zone, and it's right back into that cost basis. Right? So we will only have any serious change if we take out the low of 2 days ago. I'd say 58.84. If we take out 84, then the inventory above 84, which is all of this. Hey, Marky C, good morning. Welcome to the room. Right? So I think if we were to take out this is what I call a piñata low. Because if we take out this 84 low, all of this candy will start falling out. So that's an area of interest. The move is supposed to be higher because inventory is 100% short. So technically, the textbook thing to do is to move higher. A way to see if that's going to happen is when the market opens, if we open above these single prints, right? If we open above the single prints, 59.14, then it's got a chance of rotating higher. But if we open in the single prints and we can't get above whatever this level is, we'll go mark it out on the next chart. If we can't get above here, I think we are going to go and test the overnight low. Or at least chop around for a while before we can attract some buyers. Sometimes a market has to open and put price on sale to bring people in to buy it. You know, not every day people are lining up to buy your product. And if you've ever been in sales, you'll understand that. Some days the fish, they're just not biting, right? So you have to be patient. Sometimes you have to mark the price down to get people interested so you can raise price. And that's what creates that chop, which we may have. So the main thing is we're going to open on a gap. If we opened here right now, we'd open on a gap because we're opening outside the previous day's range. That means we've got resistance, overhead supply. If we fill the gap, it means we ran out of supply. So there's a couple of scenarios here. Off the open, if we open, we could open and try and fill the gap and get back inside Friday's range. The second trade is we open, we try and fill the gap, hit resistance, and then turn around. The third scenario is we open and try and take out these lows. And then the fourth scenario is we open and we do this. Just this crappy back and forth here. So that's what you're looking at off the open. Now let's go and see how we trade that. Which trades we take, and which trades, more importantly, we would avoid. Right, there's that selling before 59.20. You can clearly see that there's sellers here. And we're going back. You'll notice the time and the volume point of control are in those single prints. So that area where people got short 2 days ago, that's where all the action is right now. If you can call that action. Okay. So let's see, trades off the open. Oh, we're starting to catch a bid. You see, already 18 minutes to the open, we're starting to catch a little bit of a bid above the top of those single prints. Hey, Ronan, what's up? So if we open above the single prints, even though we filled them in the overnight trading session, according to market profile people, if the market opens above them, they are unfilled. Okay? And it's a simple explanation. The explanation is the people in the overnight session got all the cheap product. Right? So if you were trading, if you were short, or if you were buying a long position, you got all the cheap product. Early bird gets the worm. Right? And then they'll take those worms and they'll try and sell them at a higher price for profit. I'm good. Weekend was good. It went really quick. It still feels like Friday. I was by myself. The girlfriend was working out of town. So I hung out with the young kids in my building. That was a trip. You know, it's always a trip when a 57-year-old is hanging out with a bunch of 28-year-olds. Good to stay in touch with the younger generation. Oh, look at that. We caught a seller. Caught a seller. Right? Maybe a little tweetage, little news. Right? Somebody sneezed. Right? But we caught a seller. All right. Remember, folks, it's Monday morning. The markets have just opened. The most important thing is that you don't throw away money unnecessarily. We're going to open on a gap down. So just be smart. Don't be patient. Be smart. Right? Looks like we've got a fairly sizable rotation like here. There's a rotation here, and then there was a distribution rotation, and now we're back into this area here. Right? Now, when the market starts jumping around like this, don't try and jump into that, right? Unless you see a clear trading setup, okay? Is there there's Fed yappers? Right. There's an aggressive seller. You can see there's an aggressive seller. If you don't know what an aggressive seller is, if you look in the JJ video section, I've done videos on how to spot an aggressive seller and how to trade when aggressive sellers are present in a market. Okay? So if we open underneath the single prints, right? If we open underneath the single prints, consider them filled. China news, thank you. Now let's see if there's any follow through with that news, or if that news is just a massive backfill or a flush. Right? If you can't figure out which way this thing is going, don't worry. Most people can't on a Monday morning. There is nothing wrong with sitting and watching, maybe doing some test trades with the micro before you start committing capital. Mike, Mike, what are we going to do today, Mike? Let's increase the voltage on the shock treatment. Let's up the voltage today, okay? Mike's our in-house analyst quant, and there's a reason why they lock those guys in rooms and they don't allow them on trade desks. Long 5 sold some at 7. You've been nose down in code? Yeah, I could tell. That's good. Out another one at 7. Out another one at 7.5. I'm just long 3 micros. And I'm flat. And I just took the look below and fail of this. Look below and fail of 3 3/4. I was long 5, selling them in the 7s. Right? That's the trade. That's the only trade. It's nice. It's simple. The sell orders are done. Right? Those sell orders are complete. The market rotates up. You go long. And you sell into the strength created by a lack of supply. For a brief moment, there will be a lack of supply. You take advantage of that. Right? That is a simple trade. It is based on the oldest concept in business. When supply runs out, price goes up. Right. My risk was right under those candles there. Oh. If it holds 7.5, look for 11.25. Trump speaks to Putin. Oh, okay. Hey Zazu, how you doing? Solds are working nicely. Sell it at 11.25 or right back down to the middle. What was the volume and how much did you sell? Exactly. Hey, your clients want to get liquid, Agatha. Right? Clients just want to get liquid. Right? Trading is about alchemy. It's about turning worthless paper into cash. Right? Some decent bids. What was that area that we were talking about with KG Hunter? It was like 59.08. So we went just a little bit under that too. Found some bids. Okay. Hey, Alexander, how are you? We might just trade in a bit of a rotation off the open. And people will ask me, well, JJ, what is a rotation? It's just a rotation of inventory. In a market where in a market when it's slow, they will just rotate the inventory. Under this level, there'll be a buyer. Over this level, there's a seller. So the market comes down, they buy. As soon as it pops up, they sell. Buy, sell, buy, sell. And that's how wholesale makes money when business is slow. So if you get a choppy, slow open, the wholesalers, that's what they'll do. They'll find a nice rotation and just trade from the outside in. I'm good. I'm good. Just, getting into the week. Hey, Sadiq, long time no see. How are you? Now, don't be upset if it's choppy off the open. Just let it open up. Hey, Petra, how are you? Long time no see. Good to see you. How's San Francisco? Yeah, what's basically, remember, that we had a credit downgrade, but there are massive short positions in the last couple of weeks that have been created in this market on the run up. So they're kind of still holding the market up and not really getting much of a response from that credit downgrade. The nice thing is the market will tell us. It's off a little bit, 60 points, but it's no big deal compared to what we've seen over the last 6 weeks. It's a good liquidation, actually. It allows the people who got caught short Wednesday and Thursday to come in and do some covering. So we definitely have sellers up at 11, 11 and a half. As soon as you start getting up to 11 and a half, you see them coming in, right? As soon as you get up there. Can I talk a little bit about Seed and Company or the clearing system? Uh, it really is not going to help you guys make any money. Um, I mean, it's that's the plumbing that works under the equity system. But I could talk about it for hours, but unfortunately, it's not going to help you guys make any money. That's the problem. Uh, Usually, if I start talking about stuff like that, Agatha, people just they start dropping off the stream. Really, really, the focus of these videos we do is to try and help people make a living. Um, and Where do I put my trade? Where do I place the risk? And is that trade likely going to work? What are the market conditions for the day? How should I do business? That's really want to keep your focus on. If you start talking about the clearing system, you can spend hours and really not even, you're not going to make any money from it. Unless you're trying to hide a short position in Switzerland for a year and you're getting paid to do that. But that's another story. Just DM me about that if you need help. We definitely have a seller at 12. We got sellers at 12. Yeah, that's good, Joe. That's good. Oh, there we go. Let's see where we find the bids this morning. See if we hold VWAP. Long 15 and 3/4, out one at 17 and a half, out two at 18, and I got one contract left, and I'm just following price like a dog. 15 and a half on that entry, and where am I going to get out? 20 and a quarter is where I'm out. I'm just trading with the flow of the market because inventory is short. I see a responsive buy because the market open couldn't get a tick under the open. Rotation is up. Okay. Now, next set of stops is under 24, right? Yeah, one of these days I might do a session where I tell stories from the old days, but I don't know if anybody would be interested in that. People don't have a lot of time these days. They want relevant information that they can make money from. Let's see if we can get a gap fill. No gap fill yet, so we're going to backfill down to VWAP, I think. Let's see, VWAP is just at that 14, 15 level. Oh, bids, 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 bids. 16 bids. Hey, Anne-Marie, how are you? I'm going to finish the book. My plan is to finish the book over the Memorial Day weekend. We're all good, Anne-Marie. We're just trying to figure out how to get you on stream with us now. We've got the kinks worked out, and I just got to get the guy to tell me how to do it. Oh, I've been writing a book for years, but I'm not a writer. It's not a. It's basically a book about my experience of 25, 30 years in the business. I got about 200 pages written, but because I don't know how to write. Hey, Smug Mug, how you doing? Long time no see. Okay, we're going to try those 24 stops. They're looking tasty. Come on. Let's give it the old college try. And come on. There we go. Now, gap fill. One tick shy of the gap fill. Oh, there, gap's filled. Yeah, we got the shorts trapped again. You know, everybody thought that that downgrade news, Anne-Marie, was going to be the kiss of death. Everybody was looking for a big gap down. And yeah, we had a gap, but when you fill a gap, ooh. Now let's see if we can hold those 22s. We're going to backfill some of this move. Let's see how much of it we backfill. Where are the next set of stops? They're up here. Yeah, let's see what the pullback looks like, AZS. And this market has been, as usual, this market has been working its way higher over the last 2-3 weeks on the backs of short sellers. Yes, Agatha. Yeah. That's really the only thing I can write about. Let's see. Holding 22 will rotate back up to 26. We got to get over Friday's low. There's a little bit of a seller at Friday's low. See if that seller's still at 26 and a half. I tried to buy 25 and a half and I missed it. Right. And we're still trading that inventory correction up. So staying, if we can get over 30, if we can clean out the 30s, the stops here at 35, 36 will be the way to go. Let's see if we backfill any of this move. There we go. There's a backfill. And let's see if we can hold 26 and a quarter. What's that move? No, it's just don't have the bids just yet. If you are long, as long as we stay over 25, you're looking good. Because 25 is the Friday low. As long as we stay in Friday's range, we should get some rotation higher. There we go. Coming up on 30, and if we get over 30, we're looking for those upper stops here. And this move, the reason we're not short, and remember we spoke about this in Globex, we said That's what happens. A lot of times people come in and the market's down. It opens and they short the whole living heck out of it. And then because inventory is so short, it starts to rotate up. And that's what traps everyone short. Yeah, I would say everyone's really trapped short around 59.15, 59.14, especially on that liquidation we had right before the open. That's what catches people a lot of the times. And this is that creepy slow price action that traps a lot of people because it kind of does this, you know. That's why you want to pay attention to the 1 minute candles. Market profile is great, but when you're watching it here, you can kind of get lost in that chop, whereas the candles are so much more clear. You can see that the lows are steadily higher. There we go. Almost at 35. There's the stop. Right. Now we'll backfill this a little bit. Right, we created demand. Let's go back and fill in that demand with supply. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You know what we trade the corrections to inventory. And if you know if inventory is long or short, if you know where the supply is, if you know where people are trapped short, just try and do a little bit of business in between. You don't have to buy the low, you don't have to sell the high. You know, there's enough meat in the middle that you can make a decent living, you know? And you can manage your risk. Okay. Now we'll backfill some of this move, which means you run out of buyers at a certain point. So you take the market down to entice buying, right? Sellers start to compete. As soon as you find those bids, it'll rotate back up. If it doesn't find those bids, it'll just drop down to the next lower price levels, right? And fill these buyers that have limit orders. Yeah, how you doing, Sadiq? Long time no see. How's life? Oh, he's not on Zoom. And rotation under 30 will bring us down. Well, there's a standard deviation, so it should be a little bit of buying support there. Found buyers at 30. Lift price up to 33. Seller at 35. See if we can clear those out. I want to see how accurate this 37.5 is. That's it, AZ. Yes, you get enough people caught short, you can really drive a market higher. The more people who short a market at its lows, the higher you can take it when the sell orders finish. It's quite a concept. You don't need a lot of buying. If you have all the supply tied up, like for example, if all the supply is tied up under 59.18, you don't really need a lot of buying to push it higher. And the beautiful thing is, the more people that you can trap short under 59.18 or even 59.20, that's going to help you really get those nice big green candles, right? These big green candles, these are what happens when the short sellers, as Anne Marie was saying, when the short sellers realize, uh-oh, right? Uh-oh, I got to go buy back 500, 1,000 contracts. And they go in and they start, and everybody who has to do that at the same time goes in. That's where you get that nice big green candle. You know, there'll be a lot of traders who will be like shorting the heck out of this thing because they're thinking about the downgrade. Right? But the market is telling you right now how it's already taken in that news and accounted for it. So that's why you really have to trade what you see. Okay, we're gonna. Seems that we're running out of buyers above 34, so we're gonna backfill this. And after a move like this, it's very sort of human nature to jump in here. But right here is the worst place to jump in. Right? The only thing is, I wouldn't. If you are shorting, just put your stop at 37 and a half. Right? If you're short, your stop is 37 and a half. 36 and a quarter is your warning level. Right? And if it starts offering 38, you know that that trade doesn't make sense anymore. Now, your sellers are right here. If we lose that seller, the market's going to go higher. And when the candles are really tight like this, it's almost like a trap for retail. Okay. Jeez. And that's why you don't want to waste too much money on a short. And all right, the next area is that overnight high. And we're looking, if you want to correct inventory, we'll go and correct it all the way up to the close. That'll be a natural place. If you're long and we hold 41, right, just use my levels. They're working. You know, I got in long at 42 and I sold 44. Sorry, 43 and three quarters. Just on one micro because I was really slow. Did not take that trade well at all. Should have had better trade location on it. Now, where the shorts are going to get really in trouble, I'm expecting the market when we get up to this close and that overnight high to get some selling, right? Because if you were long underneath, you'd want to start punting out of your contracts, right? Be careful if we get accepted above the close, because the next upper stop, that's that weird O, and it's up at 59.73. At Friday's point of control is up at 74. So just be careful. That's, hopefully we get some selling and we get some nice back and forth trade, right? You did exactly what I said and lost $80? What do you mean? What did you do? Oh, okay. All right. Ugh. It might be time for a nap, Mike. You have been up since 3 in the morning. I much prefer selling from a long position. I totally miss being a distributor. It's so much easier. You just bring buyers in and you sell them product and everyone's happy. You know? Two for you, two for you, 10 for you, 20 for you, 100 for you. You're just giving out stock. Simple life. I'm going to backfill to 37 half now. Let's see, what does it do? See, the market, when it backfills, like those three red candles, what that means is it's looking for buyers, right? So that's like, you take the price up and then you kind of run out of buyers around 44. So they go, okay, folks, for 3 minutes only, ES is on sale on aisle 13, but only for the next 3 minutes. So everybody rushes in and buys it under 40. Hey, Rudy, what's going on? So this is like a little mini distribution. And you'll see it when the market moves like this. It goes higher, and then it'll go sideways for a little bit, and then it'll go higher, and then it'll go sideways for a little bit. And those little sideways moves, what they do is they bring in buyers. It's been a long A period. An A period is the first half hour. Well, when you bring in buyers, you wanna sell them inventory, Marky. See, the whole business is built around wholesale selling its product, right? So if you had 5,000 contracts, right, you want to sell them as high as you can for as long as you can to as many people as you can. Now, when you run out of buyers, you got to do what every good store does is they go put it on sale. And that's why you get that little movement. This is distribution, right? And if you hold price stable enough, people will come in. Target will be the overnight high. Now, if there's no selling here, right? If there's no selling at this 40, 59, 48, this level, be careful. Don't just automatically short it. What you'd like is a look above and fail, right? And then you'd see sellers step down and you could push price down, right? Always be careful shorting the front end of a move, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's a market. That's why they call it a market, Jaden, not the hot tub, right? It's not the stock hot tub, stock market. You know the best way to learn trading is to go work in one of those street stalls where you sell stuff. Right? I got a buddy in London, in Woolwich, and he's the guy out there selling fake Rolexes every morning, right? He unloads his truck, sets up the fake Rolexes, and he sells them, right? Another guy's selling baseball hats. Another guy's selling luggage, right? You go watch those guys operate, you'll learn how to be a trader, right? The problem with us in retail trading is it's hard to visualize this crap, right? It just looks like charts and numbers. If you don't know what it means and what they're doing, it's very hard, you know, to see what's going on. There's actually a business that's creating the chart. And the business is the movement or the acquisition and distribution for profit of ES contracts. I was never on the floor, Agatha. I was on desks. The floor closed right when I started. What basics do I use? Inventory and cost basis. And to sell into strength. I sound like a fring. For. Are you trying to say Ferrari? Oh, Star Trek. Okay, sorry, brother. I don't get the reference. Is that little green guy with the funny ears that you guys keep posting pictures of? That little green Muppet thing? Oh, okay. I don't know. Looks like something off the Muppets. I don't know. I saw the original Star Wars, but that was 1977. It was a long time ago, man. I don't remember that. Okay, different universe? All right. I am really. My pop culture references are pretty bad. Like my favorite movie, you know what you guys need to watch? You need to get to watch The Sting. Now watch for 59.45 and see if we can accept over it and then get back to that overnight high. Let's see if we can take out that overnight high. They're already selling into it here, right? They're already selling into it here. That's called front running. Sorry, I got carried away. I didn't know what he was talking about. Right? So you can see how they're front running the overnight high because you'll see volume starting to trade before the level. And that makes sense because if you were long underneath 22, underneath 33, underneath 37, you definitely start cashing out because you know everybody else is going to sell here. So you want to make sure, right, that you get out. Now, B period is opened. Yeah, and slow's not weak. Exactly, Raj. It's very hard to short a market when the inventory's underneath and there's no outside selling. You see, and that's what a lot of people thought that the news created outside selling, right? And a lot of people shorted at the lows, and right now they're the ones who are helping us hold the market up. Now, outside selling means people who've been swing long, swing short, or, swing long, they'll start coming in and selling, not just the inventory from yesterday or the overnight. They think there'll be additional selling because of the macro news. But we didn't see that happen today. That's why it's really important to trust the chart. It's very hard to do. And it's not second nature. We have to train ourselves to trust what the chart is telling us, right? Because looking at a chart, it's not second nature to trust this. In fact, most people have a big mistrust of this. But right now, the chart is telling us really clearly that nobody has to sell under 41 quarter. And that's, and if you're short under 41 quarter, then you're in trouble, right? There's the overnight high and the close. Running that triggers some stops. That's going to create some buying. Now, if we don't come back, please be careful on the short side, okay? Don't try and preemptively short the front end of a move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Give you guys these levels. Here we go. See if we can backfill to 49. That'd be a nice long. Next set of stops is all the way up here, ladies and gentlemen. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're right in the middle. Going to pause for a bit. Might screw around here between 48 and 52. This market isn't ready for the big sell-off yet. That's very kind, Agatha, but I'm not at that level. Those guys are a little bit, those are serious traders. Too many shorts ruined the soup, eh, C-Money? A little too much oregano in the soup. You know, that's the problem when we take a market up really quickly and have those um, big gaps underneath us and things like that. This market, and I've been telling people this, even after that big liquidation, right? Um, when the market, it has the most annoying habit of running out of supply just when everybody gets short, you know? Just when everybody gets short, it runs out of supply. You're 69? Yeah, I've got 67. Let's see. It's all dependent on whether we hold 48, right? If we hold 48, we'll get that rotation higher. If we lose 48, be careful if you're long, okay? You know, I've just scalp long 51 and a half, you know, and I'm putting them out. I took them out at 52 and 3/4. I'm just scalping this move because it's Monday and I'm not really, let's be honest. I'm not really 100% sure of my ability on a Monday. So I'll sell into strength. Right? I'll put my sell orders out. I'm not a contract hog, right? You know, you set, you know, you show me a bid, I'll fill it. You know, just scalping the micros out, selling them at 52 and a half. You know, long just under 51 now with the balance of these. And I'll just put them out, right? You show me a bid, I'll fill it. You know, got one left. And probably will sell that at 52 and a quarter. Yep. And there we go. You know, this was holding. I was long here. Woo! Look at that. Just as soon as I got rid of my last contract, kaboom. Yeah. Well, Anne Marie said this. What did she say this an hour ago? You can look at it. Look in the chat. It says, thinking we're going to shred some shorts again today. Oh. Done for the morning? Nice work, Chris. Yeah, Friday's high is not that far away. We've got that stop in O period. And this market is it's not really ready to sell off in a big way just yet. If you look, remember we spoke about this last week? We said these areas here above us, there's not a lot of trading volume. All of this stuff got sold out. So when we get up to these levels, between say 59.40 and 6,065, there's really not a lot of inventory here. Most of that stuff got flushed out. So just be aware of that. You know, if you're like, it's got to go down, it's got to go down. It might take a while. It might take a while. Let's take a quick look at our daily, right? And remember, we are, for those of you in the squiggly line club, you know, that 200-day moving average is 58.78, and we are firmly above that now. It's just things to remember. There's not much inventory above us now. Most of that's been flushed out. So Happy days are here again for the longs. And now we're going to go backfill this. That was everybody who was short came in at the same time. Created that nice big candle. A lot of people speaking. You can see the same pattern, right? If you're looking at the candle chart, you can see that sideways, up, sideways, up, sideways, up. It's the same thing. Those distributions, what they do is they create confidence, and buyers come in. The other thing that happens is people short this. They see that it stopped going up and they start shorting right away. They start shorting right away. And that's when you get those big moves up. It's all mechanics. Well, LC, you and I are always skeptical, but doesn't mean that we're short. It's one thing for us to be skeptical. It's another thing for us to be offside short 50 points. There's nothing wrong with being a skeptical long, right? As long as you're seller. Exactly, right? We're skeptical, but we're still taking longs, right? LC doesn't trust much. He doesn't trust the high, he doesn't trust the low. But that doesn't stop him from making money. Right? It's okay to have a bias. It's okay to be skeptical. But you still got to believe what the chart tells you and trade the chart. Right? One of the hardest things I found was trading against my bias. Right? That was the hardest thing. You're short biased, and the chart is clearly telling you that the short is not working. But you're trying to trade against the bias, and you don't even think of trading against the bias. Then you learn, I got to trade against my bias if it's wrong, right? Otherwise, I'm just going to do nothing but lose money. I do not read the news at all. I read it after the trading day, just for how I read the news, like people how they look at TMZ or they look at Us Weekly or the National Enquirer. Like I like reading the Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg to see who left what firm and how much they left with and who started a new fund. It's like gossip, right? But I'm not a macro trader, so... Oh, look, liquidation. Lovely. Let's see if we can hold the 52 halves. So I don't trade macro or any of that stuff. But I do like reading like Wall Street news because I miss working in the industry and it's kind of like gossip. Let's see what the young kids are doing. What new machines have they made? I love to see what new products they're selling, like Bitcoin ETFs and, I love to see what they're pimping out, right? Now they're pimping Bitcoin. Then it's going to be AI, or before it was AI. Then it's Bitcoin. Then it's Like, what's the hot thing? What do people want to buy? No, I did not. What was your last message? Sorry. Oh, micro, mini Russell. Sure, Rudy, you're the only one. Nobody ever asks, does anybody actually trade the Russell anymore? Let's do a little poll. I'll do levels for you. It's not a problem. It goes in waves. It's like all of a sudden everybody wants to trade the Russell, and then and then it just shuts off like a. It's like Night at the Roxbury, right? It's the hot club, and then nobody wants to go there. Jaden, it goes in waves. When we started the room 5 years ago, everybody wanted to trade the Russell. It was so popular that I would have the Russell on one side of the screen and the ES on the other, and I'd call them out simultaneously. Right? I'd call out both markets simultaneously. And then, like you guys who have been with me for a while, you remember that. So I had an ES chart, and all the Russell traders just disappeared one day. Yeah, it was pretty hectic. I sounded like one of those auctioneers, you know. Hey, now there, $5 there, $5 there. Yes, moment here. Russell doing this. Just like it was a little tiring. Alrighty, we had a 3 minute fire sale under 56. Couldn't get down to 52. Rotating back up over 60. Mid-range questionable junk. There's a lot of money in that mid-range questionable junk. Now, if we take out that B high, we're going to run some stops, so be careful. And this is when I saw on Friday night, I saw the news because I hadn't turned off my machine. And look at this. There we go. And I saw that O period liquidate. I'm like, what the heck's this all about? And then everybody over the weekend I talked to was like, oh, it's going to gap down. We're going to be down 200 points. I guess they all shorted it under 59.20. Yeah, those inverse ETFs, I wouldn't touch those with your money. I mean, let's face it, there are some products that Wall Street designs just to like take your money. I'm looking for 59.67.5 as my upper target. Like, you know that nobody's actually going to make money off of that. 2 times reverse upside down ETF. Give me a break. So we're still creeping up. I hope we start selling off soon. I really don't want to stack 16 of these on top of each other, but if I have to, I have to. I'll just go 4 for now. That's why I like the ES. It's a nice, stable product. and you get to know the order flow. You understand things like you can understand the little distributions, right? That's the little sale that brings in buyers. So you know if you're short, that's where you cover, not where you initiate. Just little things like that. And once you start understanding just how the business works, just a little bit, you can really, you can make a living and you can not blow yourself up. And that's what we do at our in our room at the trading syndicate.org. We're not trading for glory. We're trading to try and make an income. And we want you to make an income. We want you to manage your risk. So give us a shot. I'm supposed to say like and subscribe to our channel, my channel there. You have any questions, DM me. I'm always around. You can DM me at X at vwaptrader1. I'm vwaptrader1 in Discord. If anybody wants one-on-one mentorship, reach out. I do a lifetime mentoring program where I work with you basically for as long as it takes until you get sick of me. Yes, good question. Because those singles were not filled during RTH, they are still considered unfilled. So tomorrow they'll still be there, Nigel. Exactly. And you can bet that when you get back down there again, maybe 2 or 3 days later, maybe tomorrow, maybe 3 days later, there'll be some responsive buying. My pleasure. Yeah, and everything that we teach with respect to our trading and our setups is, we use a simple setup. That was a long A period. It's a long B period, too. Uh, Everything is based on simple, practical business. And if the business doesn't make sense, there's no reason to take the trade. There's always a business reason to take the trade. And if that doesn't exist, get out of the trade. Looking for 56 and a quarter? Now, do you see how the candles, every high is lower? So on this candle and the next one, right, if those highs stay lower and you're short, you can stay short. But if the tops of these candles start taking out those highs, then you know you can cover your short. See, the front end of the move is for us to distribute inventory into. The back end of the move is where you want to get short, right? This is for people to distribute size. You always want to short when you identify a seller. So it looks above the level and then it can't get above that level. That's your signal to short. And then you use that level as your stop. Same here. Looks above a level and comes back in. Short, stop, and then you bid, right? That's how you short a backfill. And it's always the back end of the move. This is the back end. This is the front end. This is the back end. Front end, and there's no back end till here. This way you don't get caught short and add to it here and then get ripped. You see? Always want to short the back end of a move. And there's a mechanical and there's a business reason for that. The reason to short the back end of the move is that you've identified that sellers need to compete under a certain level. Hope that makes sense. Good. Good stuff, Alex. Good stuff, Jaden. It's a good backfill. It's a nice big backfill. And 48 is my next level to the downside. No, 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 no. I'm looking for 48. If you're short, maybe for a cover. You know what I mean, Mike? There's 48 and 3/4. Right at that overnight high. Wow, we might not have any single prints at all. Let's see. And a minute left. Does anybody have any questions before we shut her down for the morning? Thank you everyone for being with me. Really appreciate it. If If you need any help with your trading, reach out. Welcome to all the folks who are new in the room. Ben and the other gentleman. No lab today, Moran. It's Monday. We do them on Tuesdays and Fridays. If anybody needs help, reach out. I am around. Thanks, folks. Trade safe out there. Let's see if we get some single prints. Those single prints are a short position. They'll help you trade in the right direction. There we go. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you in a little bit. Trade smart out there. Right? Don't overdo it. Thank you. Bye for now.